In the US, we spend $2.6 billion on costumes that are worn for one night, and in just 2016, 7 million costumes were thrown out. So if you are chronically online, or I hope you're not chronically online like I am, I hate to tell you that I am seeing so many Shein and Amazon hauls full of 3, 4, and 5 costumes so people can decide what they want to wear that night. I don't know if they're planning on returning these costumes, but even if they do return them, they're not going back on the shelves. They're going into the landfill. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Going Zero Waste YouTube channel. I'm Kathryn Kellogg. I do videos on sustainable living as well as critical commentary on consumption, so please hit that big red subscribe button if that sounds like something you enjoy. And today we're going to be going over easy Halloween costumes that you probably already have in your closet. This is one of my favorite series that I have run over the past, 6 years. And every year I try and find things that are already in your closet that you can turn into something that's gonna look great. Most of these bought costumes off places like Spirit Halloween or Amazon, they just look horrible. You look flammable. You don't look good. You look so bad. And for that money, you could certainly find something so much better at the thrift store. Mary Poppins is such an easy and iconic costume to create. You need a black skirt, black tights, black boots, a white shirt, a red tie. I am using a long tie from a dress. And I happen to have a bowler hat, which I thought was pretty great. But you could also have a straw hat, something that had flowers on it. It'd be very, very easy to replicate. And I will say, I do think what really makes this for me is my penguin bag that I have, but you could also, of course, carry an umbrella. If you had a blue duster or a long blue coat, that also would look really iconic. This look, so easy to achieve. This is a bedsheet toga. I pinned actual flowers to my hair to create a sort of flower crown. And then I have a horn. I love this look. This is so easy to achieve and honestly is going to look so much better than if you tried to buy a toga costume from Spirit Halloween. We are really throwing it back here. A zip-up hoodie, some jeans, tennis shoes, and the sign. I mean, honestly, even today, I still think this would be iconic. This is such an easy costume. All you need to do is make a sign. The fourth costume we have here is Road Trip Mom, or it could also be Lost Tourist, and what really makes it is an atlas. So if you wanted to go for this look, I certainly think buying a road atlas to complete your costume is also something that could really come in handy. And my final look from 2019 was Glinda, which is something that would also be so incredibly appropriate this year. So I might bring this back, but in a slightly new and adjusted way. I really like this crown I have. It was gifted to me for my bachelorette party, and it lays flat. It's technically a very, very thick and sturdy lace, which I probably need to spray with some starch to get it to stand back, but it rolls completely out, completely flat. So it's really nice to store. And I was using my knife sharpener as my wand. Because when it comes to costumes, sometimes you just have to get a little bit creative, and it is only one night. So you don't have to have the most perfect item. And I think that's one of the things that really stresses me out about so many of these videos is these costumes are truly going to be worn once, and people are buying 5 costumes to wear for one night. So 4 of those probably aren't even going to get worn. And that, I think, is the absolute definition of wasteful. I did not do the costume closet challenge in 2020 because I had nowhere to be, but we did get this absolute gem of a moment.
I want to talk to you about something spooky. Something so scary, it's hardly ever mentioned. Phantom. Electricity.
This did inspire the final group of costumes that we will go over in this video. So just buckle up, Buttercup. This costume closet challenge was from when I had just moved to Maine, and I had met a friend off of Bumble BFF, and I wound up going to a Halloween party, and truly, I was getting ready to go to that party today, and this was me pulling clothing out of boxes. And I have to say, I do think it is some of my finest work. Now, I have an extensive collection of costumes, having been in theater and having helped costume myself, and just genuinely falling in love with the MSMT costume sale. And my friends and I always have fancy dress parties. But my goal with these videos specifically is for people who don't have a costume closet in their house, because I don't think that's super normal. If it is, please let me know in the comment section down below. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up because it really helps my video with the YouTube algorithm. What I liked about a lot of these outfits is they're all very neutral, and most of these pieces would actually be fairly interchangeable with each other. So up first, we have the Outlaw. What really makes that look is the cowboy hat, but I could have easily worn the Sherlock Holmes outfit with the cowboy hat, and that still would have been an outlaw look. Of course, the jacket with the fringe really sells it. Then we have the pirate. This black dress is a black dress you will see pop up in a lot of my videos. It is a summer dress that I wear often. It's almost a maxi, and I got it from Christy Dawn in 2017. And you can truly make so many costumes with that one piece. I also really like that cap sleeve, very ruffly top underneath it. That also shows up in quite a bit of my costumes. But again, these are all things that I wear in real life. The large black sun hat was easily made into a pirate hat by simply taking one of the sides and pinning it. And then you can put a big feather in it, but that's still a sun hat that can be worn when you're done with it by simply taking the pin out. So a lot of this is being creative with the stuff that you already have. The detective piece is so easy to do. You could also wear a fedora. I just happen to have a deer stalker hat because Justin and I went as Sherlock and Watson one Halloween. And obviously I was Sherlock Holmes because you know that I am such a mystery girly. Ugh. And I did dress up as Nancy Drew in that old YouTube video for costumes, but maybe I'll add her back to my list this year because that has been so long ago. And Nancy Drew is another easy costume. You need a magnifying glass. You nailed it. Maybe some penny loafers, maybe some knee socks, a dress that looks a little vintage. Nailed it. Absolutely iconic. Maybe I'll go as Nancy Drew this year. This costume, so easy. Buffy, leather jacket, leather pants, wore a cross necklace, held a stick. Everyone voted for me going as Buffy, and some of my favorite comments were, if you can be Buffy, be Buffy. So I went as Buffy. Although that would be a really fun costume to do with a friend. It would be so much fun to go with a little blonde friend as Buffy and Faith. Oof. It'd be so good. Something I have been racking my brain about is the fact that we don't have a Buffy musical. Isn't that weird that there's no Buffy musical? Someone needs to fix that. And then finally, we have an angel, which is so easy to achieve with simply some light colored clothing and a halo. One of the things you may notice with a few of these costumes is the headwear is pretty important, such as having a fedora or having a cowboy hat or having a halo. And these pieces are so easy to find at most thrift stores. I know that Goodwill has a ton of accessories. And so if you can find your base costume from what you already have in your closet, or with a touch of creativity from what they may have, simply adding a witch's hat or adding a safari hat or adding one of the many hats that they have is really what's going to tie your whole look together. And is going to be something that you are going to be able to rewear over and over again. 2022! Starting off strong, we have Clue, and that would be such a good and easy group costume idea with everyone having their own signature color. And that may have inspired one of my costumes for this year, but you're just going to have to be on the lookout for that short. Then we have Tom Cruise in Risky Business. This is such an iconic look, which is the oversized button down. I'm wearing some white shorts, but I believe he was wearing tighty whities if you wanted to wear something like a white leotard underneath that. Sunglasses, a candlestick, and some tall scrunchy socks. Such an easy costume. Also so comfortable. Such a comfortable costume to put on. And then we have Barbie, which I think I did this before the Barbie movie was announced. Was it announced in 2022? But this is just any pink clothing that you own. You might notice this was also the same dress I wore for Glinda back in 2019. Add in a little bit of pink lipstick, boom, you're Barbie. Originally in this slot, I was going to do Baby from Dirty Dancing because that would be another very easy. But instead, I decided to go with Dr. Ellie Sattler from Jurassic Park because Nala has this really cute little dino stuffed animal. Done. All you need for this is a blue t-shirt. I'm wearing a blue sweater. I have one of Justin's pink button downs over, and then some khaki shorts. And of course, the dino stuffed animal does really tie it all together. Justin and I were going out to breakfast one morning, and I was wearing jeans, the black belt, black turtleneck, and this chain that I have. And I was feeling really cute. I was really excited. And then Justin just starts cracking up. And he shows me this picture, and I'm dressed exactly like The Rock. So That was kind of embarrassing. But you know what? It made its way into the costume closet challenge because what an iconic look. So I'm wearing my little black fanny pack that I have. And what an easy, funny costume to go as. Very basic items that a lot of people would have in their wardrobe. In October of 2023, I injured myself and was in the middle of performances for Drowsy Chaperone, so I did not get around to making one of those videos, but I do have 2 from last year. And up first, we have this one, which was 7 outfits from the same black dress. And I got so many comments from people saying, same dress, wears completely different dress. No, my friends, this is the exact same dress, and it is the same Christy Dawn dress that I was talking about a little bit earlier. Now, the dress has a slit up the front in the center, which I do use to pull either side back to create kind of a fishtail look, and I have also pinned it up to make it a much shorter dress. So this all is the same dress, and with using just a little bit of creativity, you can take your own clothes and realize that you can wear them in very different ways to create different looks. Once again, this is not for real life. This is for a costume. So it doesn't have to look amazing up close for everyday wear. You just need to look good from about 10 feet away for one night. So yes, you can take a dress and you can safety pin it up. And up close, if you were walking around on the streets, people might think that looks kind of weird. But for a costume party, no one's going to be examining you that closely because you're just going after the vibes of an overall character or look. I love the Edwardian governess look, and I actually just got an Edwardian dress from the MSMT costume sale, and it is absolutely stunning and also such a fun costume. I think what would really pair well with it is a ruler. But what you need is a long skirt or a long dress like this, a high neck button down, preferably something that might have a little bit of detailing up here. And I'm wearing a cameo necklace, but I think the other thing that really ties it off is the Gibson Girl hairdo. Today's sponsor is Smurf at West Rock, and I took a tour of their recycling facility earlier this year. It was incredible seeing how everything gets sorted. And I followed the full life cycle of a box. This is one of my favorite videos that I have made recently. I saw boxes go from your curbside bin getting pulped, and then they are ready to be made into finished cardboard packaging. One of the coolest things I saw on this tour was the ink kitchen. This is native to this location, but they mix the colors on site. So there's basically no waste, and every single run will hit the brand perfect shade without over ordering ink, which is super cool. A little zero waste story. And when I got home, they sent me some little plastic-free goodies. They sent me some Meow Meow tweet, as well as helped me host a little repair party. You might have seen that on my YouTube shorts. They sent us some snacks. We had things like fruit in paper punnets instead of plastic. We had boxed wine and pizza boxes. So if you are throwing a Halloween party this year and you are ordering pizza, those are in fact recyclable at most facilities in the US if they have a little bit of food residue on them, as long as they are not completely grease soaked. For instance, all of the pizza boxes at my repair party were totally fine. So go ahead and throw those into your recycling bin. And a huge thank you to Smurf West Rock for sponsoring this video. And if you want to learn more about their sustainability initiatives, please check out the report that I'm linking in the description box. Then I'm actually wearing the exact same shirt, and I just tie it with a little ribbon, and I've pinned a handkerchief to my head, as well as a handkerchief just around a ribbon to create a maid's apron, because I don't have a short maid's apron, so these are just 2 white handkerchiefs that I've pinned. But I think for a costume, it looks really good and totally works. Wednesday Addams is an absolute black dress classic. You need 2 braids, black dress with long sleeves, and a white collar. I don't have a black sleeve long dress, so I wound up using the white dress shirt with the collar poking out at the top. And it reads, right? I know that this isn't as close to her costume as you could get, but with the braids and the boots and the dress, you kind of put it together. It makes sense in your brain. And it's a costume. It doesn't have to be perfectly spot on. Then we have the absolute classic, the cat. I got these ears from Goodwill during Halloween. Black dress, little cat ears. Solid. Basic, but it works. We have another pirate look, but it's a little bit different with a corset, which I am wearing upside down. I did not mean to do that, and some people had thoughts about it in the comment section. And I did, however, wear this outfit to the Ren Fair earlier this year, and it's the same sun hat. You just pin it up on one side. One of the things that really helps make the pirate look and this prospector look we have here are the belts. So if you have some black belts and brown belts, tie some and put them across your body as well as around your waist and wear 2 and 3. It just creates a lot of depth and dimension to your costume that makes it look really cool. I would definitely say that ruffledy shirt and this black dress are some of the most worn costume pieces I have that are actually functional in my wardrobe. That and probably a white button down. And with a high-necked long black dress, how could you not do the iconic Holly Golightly look from Breakfast at Tiffany's? I don't have a small crown. I only have a very big crown, which I wore for my costume build that I did of Queen Elizabeth I, which I will be making a whole video on that. Let me know if you want to see it. I really hope you do because I really want to make the video. I'm so proud of this. I made this out of curtains and I have basically built the entire outfit around the crown that I already had because I didn't want to buy another crown. Reduce, reuse, recycle. And then we are coming up to the final best 4 outfits, rounding out our 25 plus a bonus costume, the environmentally themed costumes. Because, why not start a conversation at a party? You're fun. You can talk to people, and this is your moment. Up first, I have this adorable outfit, which is yoga pants and a black t-shirt. I happen to have this cape that I sewed, so I did add it on for wings, but I don't think it's necessary. A headband that I made out of a wire hanger that I wrapped ribbon around to create antennas so I could be a litter bug. Adorable, right? So stinking cute. Then we have the Eco Warrior look, which is achieved with over-the-knee boots, which were very, very popular in 2015. And because I don't really get rid of anything ever, it was perfect for this outfit. Then I have a pair of black bloomers and then just a long sleeve shirt. I also have a headband that I'm wearing this way across my head. And I think it totally reads. And that is such an easy costume to put together, is to be a superhero, or on this case, a play on words, an Eco Warrior. There we have her. Phantom Electricity. I'm just laughing because it looks kind of like a Tuxedo Mask cosplay. And I really want to put these 2 pictures side by side because I just played Reno Sweeney, and in our press photos, the costume I wore, which was supposed to be a little sailor pinup outfit, looked kind of like vintage Sailor Moon. So now I have been vintage Sailor Moon and eco-friendly Tuxedo Mask. That's our 25th costume, y'all. But if you would like to wear a Phantom Electricity costume, think kind of phantom-y, maybe a cape, and then just throw a bunch of cables around yourself, and it will be perfect. And we've been saving the best for last. This is a recycling bin. All you need is a blue shirt, and then I drew the chasing arrows out on paper, and I stuck them to a blue bag, which I put around my head. And that way, you can go around collecting people's recycling and talking about the importance of recycling all night long. I think that's a genius idea. So let me know what you think. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you took away quite a bit of inspiration on what you're going to be for Halloween. If you're new here, I do videos on sustainable living as well as critical commentary on consumption. So please hit that big red subscribe button if that sounds like something you enjoy. And I will see you next week in a new video.